my life completely changed for the better, and I don't know how to feel about it. I'm 20 years old. My business is generating over $50,000 a month consistently now, and I am recording this video, as you can see, March 27th, Thursday night, and tomorrow I have a early flight to Miami, Florida. I have officially moved out to a high-rise apartment at the age of 20 years old, and I'm gonna start living on my own. And this is truly where adulthood is gonna start kicking in, you know. And just 1 year ago, I was making $0. Just 1 year ago, I invested $4,000 into my knowledge, and that $4,000 has generated not only my business over 6 figures, but for my client businesses over 7 figures. And is I'm like low key like lost for words, you know what I'm saying? I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I am nowhere near good. I'm literally just a small fish in a big pond. But coming from where I've came from, coming from a third world country where I used to shower outside, where I used to take, shit and piss literally outside in not a real toilet, those toilets, that you probably see in a third world country where there is no flushing, no water features at all, where just, your shit will go all the way down to the bottom. Yeah, that's where I came from, okay? And I started with a disadvantage. I came to the United States when I was 12 years old. English is my second language, and I'm making it work with what I have. And I kind of just want to give people a different point of view out there, because I know a lot of the guys you guys might see online, you might call it daddy's money or anything like that, or even though they worked hard for it, their families still, were middle class, high end. I come from a very, very, below means family, and that's completely fine to say. I am very thankful that I don't have any debt. I'm very thankful in the position that I am in now, and the doors that I have opened and stuff like that, opportunities that I've gotten. That's truly what has changed my life. And where I was 1 year ago is completely different. If you were to tell me, where I am today now, that was going to happen in a matter of exactly a year, I would genuinely cold cap. I would say that, that there's no way that will be possible. The people that I've met, the people that I've worked with, the people that I am friends with, stuff like that, things that have happened in my life, has been genuinely life changing. And just to kind of give you a walkthrough of where I started was completely simple. I made my first $10,000 online back in, July of 2023. And after that, I completely got lazy. I never kept up with, motivation or discipline or whatever you may call it. I genuinely just dropped off the earth. I started making like a few $1,000s a month, and I thought that was what life was going to be about, that I was going to buy, a Rolex and a nice car and a nice house by just being lazy. And what I mean by being lazy is just by genuinely doing barely any work. And it showed. I made $10,000, and I was truly lucky because I put in the work, and I guess my luck was, that amount of money that I earned. But then afterwards, I didn't put in any work, and I didn't get any output, right? The more that you put in, the more that you're going to get out. And I didn't realize that at the time. I was completely dumb. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was 2023. I was, 19 years old. So I was genuinely stupid. And then last year, when I first started, what I'm doing now, running an info product agency, I was doing TikTok shop, where I was just getting by, making a few grand a month, maybe 1,000, 2,000. I think my biggest month was like 5,000, right? And that was in the month of April, and I remember it deeply. I was doing that for a living just because I didn't want to work a job. I was like, hey, working a job sucks. I worked pushing, I worked at a supermarket, pushing carts and being a cashier, being treated like shit, working 8 hours, making $10 an hour. I worked at a warehouse, standing up for 8 hours, making $14 an hour. So genuinely, I have gone through pretty fucked up shit in my life as well. My parents have always been there for me. My family has always been there for me. But, at the end of the day, I feel like kind of the situation that I was put into this world is to genuinely make sure that I am able to make my family proud and happy. And just last December, just a few months ago, 3 months ago, I decided to drop out of college. So, I got my associate's degree, and a lot of the people that I know, they're 3 years into college and stuff like that, into debt, whatever. And thankfully, you know, I don't have that. I actually, I was able to pay off my mother's debt as well. That's something that I was extremely proud of, and genuinely, that's what money can buy you, right? Just seeing other people around you happy and making sure that the the failures that you went through, you're finally seeing some form of success. Um, but to kind of touch back on it, I wrote some things. What really changed everything for me and did the whole 360 of changing my life was definitely you know key decisions that I made, which was actually a year ago. I spent $4,000 into my education, literally exactly a year ago. And from there on, it was my first ever time that I bought a course or program. And as you can see, it has paid off completely. Another, decision that I made was no longer be in a relationship with a girl that I thought that I would have, probably married at the time. We were together for 2-3 years, and that's something that I got over, pretty quickly. And as you can see, it's not really affecting me much because instead it just gave me fuel to be where I am today. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people can say that they move out on their own or mainly move out to Miami of how expensive a city is at the age of 20 years old. And I'm, having the right people by my side, being able to work every single day, being able to see others and making sure that that's something that is actually achievable fueled me up. So those were key decisions that I made in my life that has allowed me to get to where I am today. I've never fucked anyone over. I do believe that karma is a thing. If you decide to do bad things in this world, bad things are going to come after you. And I'm very happy that decisions that I've made got me to this position that I am today. Although at the time it might be a tough decision, but it will pay off a few months later. Another thing that has, kind of changed my entire life, and I don't want to say thing, but has been God. Putting God first is what truly has changed me overall as a man, as a business owner, and as a successful entrepreneur. And I'm nowhere near successful. I just want you guys to understand that at all. But I have tasted a small, taste of success with, my business is projected to obviously do $500,000 this year, and that's absolutely life changing. And with the mindset that I have is another thing. It's just been reading. So changing your entire life is kind of what got me to where I am, right? So learning every single day, getting 1% better, reading books, actually being disciplined, and that's truly what has made a really, really big change. And genuinely, I truly don't know how to feel because I have not bought anything materialistic. I've been saving my money. I've been investing a lot of my money. I want to say like 80% of it. And I truly have not yet bought, anything materialistic for myself, for any family member, for any friend or anything like that. If I were to be completely honest with you, money is just an addition into your life, and I don't like how money is pretty much necessary for everything you need in life, right? I don't think that God created this world for us to genuinely feed so much of money, but unfortunately for me to live, I do need to make money, right? So genuinely what brings me happiness is something that I realize is being able to generate money, being able to give back to my family. Seeing my mother happy is what truly makes me happy. Being able to help my father as well, And honestly, being able to go on trips, I went to Europe in the month of December. That truly made a really big change in my career as well. You know, I went to Germany, I went to Switzerland, I met other entrepreneurs out there. And if you're young, I highly suggest you travel as well rather than buying, you know, designer clothing or whatever it may be, because I don't own any designer clothes. I don't own any high-end brand, because at the end of the day, that really doesn't bring me happiness. And I'm really all about, you know, being myself, keeping truly a lot of the things I do private. And that's just what I feel like made a really big change in my life. And another thing that I have written down is pretty much just the hard work, the learning curves, and the sacrifices that have went into this. You know, some things you have to be selfish. You have to sacrifice relationships, friendships, and situations. You have to learn how to say no, how to say yes in certain situations to play it into your advantage. And unfortunately, that's just how life works. And as long as, again, you don't fuck anyone over, you don't do bad things, it's part of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've made sacrifices, as I mentioned. I made the sacrifice of, you know, leaving a relationship I was in, right? And I made that sacrifice, and guess what? At the time, I was making $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Now I am literally making 5x that. So that's just part of life. You know, sacrifices may seem bad at the time, but guess what? A few months later, the only person that knows your future is God, right? And a lot of the questions that I receive on my messages is like, what do you want to do in the future? Like, where do you see yourself in the future? If I'm being completely honest, I don't know. I live my life day to day. That's just what keeps me happy. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I just know that tomorrow I'm going to take a flight out to Miami, and I'm going to start pretty much a brand new life, right? Meet new people, explore new things, and that's just part of life, you know? So I just want to leave you guys with a message, right? And that's truly to work as hard as you can. You know, your work doesn't go unnoticed. People, you know, might not know that you're working behind the scenes, but that's the whole goal, right? I didn't tell anyone that I was moving out. I mentioned in a video, right? If you go back to a video back in December for New Year's, I said, hey, I know I'm gonna, you know, one of my goals this year is to move out to a skyrise apartment in Miami, and I did that. I am in the 60th floor, 59th floor, I guess, in of apartment in Miami. Literally crazy amount of rent, $5,800 a month on rent. It's insane for that, but it is what it is. And you know, situations like that is truly what makes you you. You know, you believing in yourself is what's gonna get you far. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely you know, now that I'm reminiscing and I'm thinking about, you know, all the hard work that I put in my mom's attic, you know what I'm saying, for the past 2 years, and now actually seeing some form of small success has been insane. And you know, like, I don't really know what advice I could give you, right? Or any form of encouragement words or motivation or anything, but achieving some form of success is definitely a weird feeling. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's extremely weird, because I get happy when I help other people out. Like, my business motto is making other people money, so I don't even focus anymore. After I detach myself from money, after I detach myself from hitting certain goals personally, that's when I started making more money. For example, I can show you, right? Like, literally one client that I was working with, October, November, December, it went from $30,000, $40,000 to $50,000 a month. And then this month has been our biggest month, just because I've genuinely put in a lot more time to this client specifically, and we've been hitting 10K days for the past 4 days in a row. And month to date, with one payment processor, it is $161,000. Literally, year to date has been $375,000. So if this video doesn't give you some form of, motivation or understanding that I came from nothing, okay? I just want you guys to understand that, right? I may be using this to my advantage or whatever. I don't want you to feel bad for me at all. That's not the point of this video, right? You guys are going to understand once you get to a certain point in life that money doesn't matter. It's abundant, right? You're going to make money and money's going to go. It's going to come in and it's going to go, right? Doesn't matter. That's just part of life. So when you detach yourself from it, you're no longer are going to be happy hitting certain goals. My goal is to hit $100,000 a month personal. Once I do that, and I know that I will do that by the end of the year, then it's like, okay, I hit that goal. Let me work even harder to hit $250,000 a month. I hit that goal. Let me work even harder to hit $500,000 a month. So that's just part of life. It's kind of, I see it like a video game. And it's not like I'm chasing money, but what else am I supposed to do? Genuinely, I'm not gonna be complacent or any other word, I don't know, lazy or just chilling after just generating, $1 million a year. I want to do multiple millions. That's just what I want to do in life, It's part of the game, it's part of life. So, what I will suggest you guys to do is, like, you see a lot of guys online, that they flex their lifestyle. Keep watching those, because I do that every single day and it truly helped me. Just understand that the more you put in, the more you're gonna get out. And this shit is not luck. This shit is simply hard work. I'm working with people that I didn't think I would be able to work with last year. I understand. I'm in a circle of entrepreneurs who are, have multiple 7 figures. I know somebody that's doing multiple 8 figures a year. I didn't think I would even be close to knowing someone like that. Hey, but it's part of life. And all I would suggest you guys do is keep God first, always. I am truly making sure that I get closer to God every single day. And it's something that I feel like I could preach to you guys as well, because that has truly changed my life. Praying every single day, making sure you're with God every single day, and genuinely also making sure that your family is happy, making sure that your mental health is good as well. That's very important. But if I were to leave you with some words of encouragement, is keep going. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Don't go ahead and ask for help. I truly didn't. I didn't go out to creators and ask for help or whatever it may be, because they don't care. You have to do it yourself, okay? Whether you want to hear it or not, go do it yourself, and I promise you, you're going to thank me later. Besides the point, this is my last day here in this tiny town with like 200,000 people or whatever it may be in Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania. Tomorrow, I'm going to be living in a brand new city. I'm going to be expanding my comfortness bubble, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But my last video in my car, I'm gonna leave my car to my parents, and hopefully, I don't know what they're gonna do, sell it, whatever it is. But besides the point, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a long yap, but my life changed completely in a single year. Okay, yes, I've been doing this for longer than a year. I've been actually doing entrepreneurship for almost 2 years now. So it truly shows you that if you put your head down, you're going to be able to see some form of success. So follow me on Instagram. You can message me there and I can help you out with whatever you may need. And besides the point, just subscribe. And the content in Miami is going to be insane. I can't wait to see where I'm going to be in the next year. I have, an idea, but at the end of the day, we're going to see. Hopefully, of course, be at a way better situation than I am now. But besides the point, love y'all boys. Take care. Love your family. Love God. And always stay humble and always grind.